I'm going to make the bridge before I start putting the finish on the guitar. That way I can mark off where the bridge is going to sit and mask it so that I don't get lacquer in that area, or at least not much. So I've got this chunk of ebony that is bigger than the bridge will be. It's like 6 3/4 by, I don't know, 1 3/4 I guess. And the first step is to get just a little bit of a curve on the back side of it where it'll be glued to the top of the guitar, since the guitar has a curved domed surface. So I have this piece of plywood, and what has worked for me very well over the years is to just stick a ruler under the middle of it, and that induces just a little bit of a bow into the plywood. And now I've scratched pencil marks along the back side of the ebony, and I'm going to sand it back and forth on this. And when all the pencil marks disappear, I'll know I've got a little bit of a curve, and that curve is going to match the soundboard, so there won't be any stress on the bridge when it's glued to the top. Next, I'll cut the saddle slot on my table saw. I've glued this little scrap of wood to the I guess, treble edge of the ebony, and that gives me the proper angle so that I have the standard 1/8 inch slope from the treble E to the bass E. And I've got the depth of the blade exactly where I want it, so I'll make the cut. There you can see the slot. The white paint is telling me where I'm going to drill the bridge pin holes, which is the next step. Got this nice little metal template from Elevate Lutherie. It has 6 different options for bridge pin spacing, and I am going to use the 2 1/4 inch spacing on this guitar. So I'll drill pilot holes that are 3/32 of an inch, and then I'll enlarge it to 3/16 of an inch, which is always the starting point with bridge pins. Okay, there are the holes, and I'll make them bigger now. Alright, 6 holes. I want to cut out the outline, the shape of the bridge, but the pencil marks don't show up very well on ebony, so I'm using white paint, and once the paint dries I can make the marks again, and they'll stand out in nice contrast, and it'll be a lot easier to cut and sand this to the shape I want it to be. Here's the line I've traced from my template, so now I'll bandsaw this out close to the line and then sand it to get right to it. Next, I'll do the bridge wings, tapering them down to about 3/32 of an inch. So I've, of course, put some more white paint on. And same as with the profile, I'll rough this out on the bandsaw and then do the final thicknessing on the sander. Next, I'll shape the crown of the bridge so that it curves pretty much on the same 16-inch radius as the fretboard. That way the saddle will be sticking up approximately an even amount all the way across the bridge instead of being real low on the treble side and real high on the bass side. Now I am going to remove excess wood off of the belly so it curves downward, starting right behind the bridge pins and then goes to between 3/32 and an eighth of an inch down at the bottom. And the front needs to get rounded off. And now I will sand the entire bridge, and then it'll be about all set. Here it is after sanding, and now really the last thing I'm going to do is just chamfer the bridge pin holes on my drill press before I glue it onto the guitar. After the finish is on, I'll just buff this on a wheel to bring it up to a nice high shine. That's about where it'll sit.